What if I told you there's a way to experience unshakable peace, no matter what life throws at you, a way to navigate every challenge and difficult person with grace, calm, and clarity? Imagine a life where your inner balance remains untouched by the chaos of the world, where nothing and no one has the power to disrupt your peace of mind. This is not just wishful thinking, it's a profound truth rooted in the ancient wisdom of Stoic philosophy. It's the power of letting go, a purposeful detachment from the things we cannot control, and it's a skill each of us can cultivate. Think for a moment about how much energy we pour into trying to control the uncontrollable, the actions of others, the unfolding of events, the outcomes we desperately desire. We believe that if we can just manage these external forces, we'll finally find peace and happiness. But as the philosopher Epictetus once said, we cannot choose our circumstances, but we can always choose how we respond to them. The harsh truth is, this illusion of control is a trap of the ego, pulling us into a cycle of anxiety, frustration, and disappointment. Why does the ego cling so tightly? Because it fears uncertainty. It fears failure, loss, and anything that threatens its fragile sense of security. It replays old wounds from the past while projecting worst-case scenarios onto the future, keeping us stuck in a state of unease. Marcus Aurelius, another great Stoic thinker, said it best, "Peace lies not in external things, but in our thoughts about them." When we let the ego dictate our responses, we lose sight of the present moment, the only place where true peace can be found. But here's the good news: we don't have to stay trapped in this cycle. By learning to let go, by accepting life as it is rather than fighting against it, we can free ourselves from unnecessary suffering. Letting go doesn't mean giving up. It means choosing to focus on what we can control: our thoughts, our attitudes, and our reactions. This simple yet powerful shift can transform our lives, allowing us to meet challenges with resilience and to find joy even in the midst of uncertainty. So, let's take this journey together. Let's discover how to rise above automatic reactions, embrace life with an open heart, and find the deep, lasting peace that comes from letting go of what we can't control. This path isn't just a philosophy, it's a way to unlock a richer, more fulfilling life, one day at a time. Most of us spend our lives holding tightly to the things that give us a sense of security: our relationships, careers, possessions, social status, or simply the feeling of being grounded in the world. These attachments feel safe, like anchors in a storm. But as Marcus Aurelius wisely said, think of yourself as dead. You have lived your life. Now take what's left and live it properly. How often do we live in fear that one misstep could cause it all to unravel? That fear can lead us to play it safe, avoid risks, and even mold ourselves to fit into expectations that were never truly ours. Yet the truth is unavoidable. Life is impermanent. Everything we grasp so tightly is slipping through our fingers, whether we want to face it or not. Relationships end, careers shift, loved ones pass away, and our bodies continue to age. This is the natural order of life, one we cannot change. So, the real question is, how will you live with the time you have left? Will you let the fear of losing what you hold dear keep you paralyzed? Or will you embrace life's impermanence and discover the freedom that acceptance can bring? When we understand, as Epictetus taught, that we are only temporary guardians of the things in our lives, we unlock a deep sense of liberation. By accepting that nothing is permanent, we stop clinging and start living. We no longer stay silent out of fear, nor betray our own truth to fit in. Instead, we find the courage to follow our passions, even if the path is uncertain or difficult. Holding back because we're afraid to fail is the real loss. And when we love, truly love, we do so with our whole hearts, knowing that love is only meaningful when it's expressed fully, even if it's not guaranteed to last. When you embrace the impermanence of life, something remarkable happens. The things that once frightened you, rejection, failure, even embarrassment, become stepping stones. They are lessons that teach you resilience and help you grow stronger. This shift isn't easy. The ego will fight back. It thrives on fear, desperately clinging to the illusion of control. But here's the truth. Within you lies an endless well of strength that no fear can touch. The more you live from this place of inner peace, the less power fear and loss will have over you. How do we begin this journey toward acceptance and peace? It starts with silence. Seneca once said, "Silence is a teacher, and only in silence can we truly hear ourselves." Silence gives us the space to step away from the noise of daily life, quiet, restless thoughts, and return to the stillness within. In that stillness, we can finally see ourselves clearly, not as a collection of fleeting thoughts or emotions, but as something far deeper and more enduring. You are not the passing storm clouds, you are the vast sky that holds them. Silence is more than the absence of words, it is the art of finding profound inner stillness. In this quiet state, the mind is free from the endless chatter of worries, judgments, and impulsive reactions. In that calm space, the voice of your soul becomes clear, revealing your true nature and allowing you to connect more deeply with the world around you. To cultivate this silence, we must develop certain skills and practices, each one guiding us closer to the peace that already exists within us. 1. Be silent more than you speak. In a world that often values speaking over listening, silence can be a deeply powerful tool. Silence isn't just the absence of words, it's an intentional practice that allows you to absorb, reflect, and truly understand the world around you. The ancient philosopher Epictetus wisely noted, "We have 2 ears and only 1 mouth so that we may listen more than we speak." This reminds us that listening is not only a way to gain knowledge, but also a way to honor and respect others by giving them the space to express themselves. When we listen deeply, we broaden our understanding and cultivate stronger, more meaningful connections. In moments of conflict or heated discussion, silence can serve as a shield against unnecessary arguments. When emotions run high and words are hurled like weapons, choosing silence can prevent escalation and give you the opportunity to respond thoughtfully rather than react impulsively. Silence doesn't mean surrendering your beliefs. It's a way to stay composed and avoid saying something you might later regret. As Mark Twain famously said, "It's better to keep silent and be thought a fool than to open your mouth and remove all doubt." True strength often lies not in speaking loudly, but in knowing when to hold back, creating space for wisdom and careful thought to guide your actions. Silence also has its place as a strategic advantage, particularly in professional or interpersonal settings. In conversations, pausing to listen instead of rushing to respond can reveal far more than the words being spoken. Writer Ernest Hemingway advised, "When people talk, listen completely. Don't think about what you're going to say next." Most people never listen. By listening with intention, you can uncover what's truly being communicated, the unsaid fears, hopes, or motivations that often lie beneath the surface. Silence can give you the upper hand by providing clarity and insight into the dynamics at play. On a personal level, silence is an opportunity to reconnect with yourself. In the busyness of life, we rarely take time to step back and truly listen to our inner thoughts. Silence invites us to pause, reflect, and face our emotions without distraction. It is in these quiet moments that we gain clarity about what truly matters, what drives us, what holds us back, and what brings us peace. Silence becomes a space where we can recalibrate, align with our values, and make decisions with a clear mind and a steady heart. Ultimately, silence is more than the absence of noise. It's a practice that helps you grow stronger and more self-aware. It allows you to face life's challenges with courage and approach each decision with intentionality and purpose. In choosing silence, you're not retreating, you're creating space to understand, to master yourself, and to move forward with wisdom and confidence. 2. Practice non-judgment. Picture your mind as a vast open sky where thoughts and emotions drift like passing clouds, constantly changing shape and color. Rather than chasing these clouds, trying to hold on to them or push them away, simply let them be. Don't label them as good or bad. Instead, observe them with quiet curiosity, allowing them to come and go naturally, just as clouds do. This practice of non-judgment brings a profound sense of clarity and peace. Epictetus once said, "It is not events that disturb us, but our judgment about them." This truth reminds us that it's often our opinions and reactions, not the events themselves, that create turmoil in our lives. When we judge, we stir the waters of our minds, making it harder to see our thoughts and emotions for what they truly are. By letting go of judgment, we create space for understanding and acceptance. In that space, we can listen to the quiet voice of our inner wisdom, a voice that often holds answers we can't hear amidst the noise of daily life. Allow yourself to experience every thought and feeling without criticism or evaluation. As Seneca wisely noted, if you do not see things as they are, you will never be able to act rightly. By welcoming all thoughts and emotions, no matter how uncomfortable, you give yourself the chance to understand them more deeply. This deeper understanding leads to better decisions, made from a place of calm rather than impulsivity. When we stop judging and simply observe, we realize that thoughts and emotions are natural responses, not the core of who we are. As we learn to let them rise and fall without clinging to or fighting them, we cultivate an inner stillness. In that stillness, our truest and wisest self can emerge. This is where we find clarity, strength, and peace. Trust in the wisdom within you. Non-judgment is the practice that nurtures this trust, helping you to see people, situations, and even yourself with greater compassion and understanding. Each time you let go of judgment and simply observe, you take a step closer to a life enriched with wisdom and tranquility. Non-judgment is not about ignoring what happens, it's about seeing clearly, acting wisely, and living with a heart full of peace. 3. Live as if today were your last. Living as if today were your last doesn't mean throwing caution to the wind or shirking responsibilities. It's about embracing each day with intention, making thoughtful, courageous choices that reflect what truly matters. Life is a constant ebb and flow of challenges and opportunities, but not every obstacle demands immediate action, and not every opportunity deserves your energy. As the Stoic philosopher Seneca wisely said, we don't have control over the length of our life, but we do have control over its quality. His words remind us that true courage isn't reckless. It's a measured balance of wisdom and bravery, choosing actions that align with our deepest values rather than fleeting ego-driven desires. When we fully grasp the fleeting nature of time, we gain a sense of clarity and freedom. In today's fast-paced world, it's easy to get swept up in the endless pursuit of success or recognition, leaving little room to reflect on what makes life meaningful. Rainer Maria Rilke observed, "Courage is not the absence of fear, but acting in spite of it." This quiet courage is not about making bold, dramatic moves. It's about showing up every day, even in the face of uncertainty, challenges, and personal limitations. It's about taking small, meaningful steps toward what matters most. Living courageously doesn't require grand gestures or heroic acts. It can be as simple as choosing kindness in a tense moment, staying calm under pressure, or facing your fears without letting them dictate your choices. As writer Elizabeth Gilbert wisely shared, courage doesn't have to be loud. Sometimes it's just quiet patience. In the midst of life's trials, quiet patience and steady persistence often speak louder than any dramatic display of strength. True courage lies in staying the course even when it feels difficult and finding grace in the ordinary moments. To live fully is not to escape pain or avoid responsibility, but to embrace life's ups and downs without being controlled by them. It means meeting life with a steady and adaptable spirit, knowing that every experience, whether joyful or challenging, offers an opportunity to grow. In the quiet moments, when we turn inward and listen to the wisdom of our intuition, we often discover life's deepest truths. This inner stillness acts as a compass, guiding us to act with intention, to discern when to push forward, and when to simply observe, finding purpose even in life's quieter moments. By cultivating this awareness, we learn to distinguish between the voice of fear and the call of wisdom. Seneca once said, "When we learn how to live, we will no longer fear death." When we stop clinging to external validations and release the need to control outcomes, life becomes lighter and more meaningful. We stop being bound by fear of change, loneliness, or loss. Instead, we live each day as an opportunity to express our truest selves, to love deeply, to share generously, and to create lasting value, not for recognition, but for the simple joy of living fully. 4. Practice non-attachment. Non-attachment isn't about avoiding life or becoming indifferent. It's about embracing life fully, engaging deeply, but without clinging to outcomes or fearing loss. It's a way of living where you can give your best to every moment without letting the desire for control or permanence weigh you down. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus wisely said, "Remember, it's not what happens that bothers you, but how you perceive it." Our suffering often doesn't come from life itself, but from our attachment to things we can't control and our resistance to life's natural flow. Practicing non-attachment can start small, in everyday moments. Think about savoring a warm cup of coffee or a delicious meal. Instead of wishing the moment would last forever, immerse yourself fully in the experience, enjoying it for what it is, without holding on. Or consider the act of offering a gift from the heart without expecting anything in return. That's non-attachment in action. As Paulo Coelho once wrote, "If you love something, set it free. If it comes back to you, it's yours. If not, let it go." This reminds us that genuine love and connection come from allowing things to flow naturally, without forcing or clinging. As you expand this mindset to other areas of life, such as your work or hobbies, you'll find a sense of freedom and ease. Pour your heart into a creative project, but don't let your peace depend on others' praise or criticism. Hermann Hesse captured this beautifully when he said, "Once a person has achieved inner peace, everything else is secondary." When you focus on the process instead of the outcome, you'll discover the joy of creating for its own sake, living in the moment without the pressure of success or failure. Living with non-attachment doesn't mean giving up on your dreams or desires. It's about recognizing that everything in life is temporary and allowing yourself to enjoy the present without being consumed by the past or the future. This perspective brings a profound sense of freedom. When you stop clinging, you become more present. When you accept the possibility of loss, you're able to love more deeply. Non-attachment is not about letting go of life's beauty. It's about fully experiencing it without fear of it slipping away. When you embrace the practice of non-attachment, life becomes lighter, freer, and more serene. You'll find that true freedom lies not in holding on tightly, but in letting go, living and loving with an open heart, trusting the natural flow of life. This is where real peace begins, in the balance between cherishing the moment and accepting its impermanence. 5. Act as if there's nothing left to lose. At first glance, living as if there's nothing left to lose might sound reckless. But in truth, it's a path to profound freedom. This mindset doesn't mean throwing caution to the wind or taking irresponsible risks. Instead, it's about accepting that everything external, our possessions, status, and even relationships, is temporary and beyond our full control. When we place too much reliance on these fragile elements, we set ourselves up for suffering when they inevitably change or fade. By building a strong inner foundation, grounded in our values and independent of external circumstances, we discover a resilience that can weather any storm. Seneca offered a powerful insight when he said, "He suffers more than necessary, who suffers before it is necessary." Most of the pain we endure isn't caused by actual events, but by the fears and imagined scenarios we create in our minds. How often do we find ourselves worrying about things that might never happen? This fear of potential loss keeps us trapped in a cycle of anxiety, robbing us of the ability to enjoy the present moment. Instead of appreciating the here and now, we get lost in a future that may never come to pass. Take a moment to reflect. How much time and energy have you spent worrying about things outside your control? Whether it's fear of losing a job, financial security, or even your health, these concerns can feel overwhelming. Yet, as Stoicism teaches, the key is to focus on what we can control: our actions, our attitudes, and the peace we cultivate within ourselves. This isn't about indifference to life or its challenges. It's about choosing not to be ruled by fear. By focusing on what truly matters and staying rooted in our core values, we free ourselves from the chains of insecurity. When you embrace the mindset of nothing left to lose, you're no longer burdened by the need to meet societal expectations or prove yourself to others. The pressure to be perfect or successful fades away, replaced by a sense of authenticity and inner confidence. You begin to act not out of fear but from a place of strength, guided by what you truly value. This makes your choices more genuine, your actions more powerful, and your life far freer. Living with this mindset doesn't mean disregarding the things you care about. It means cherishing them without becoming dependent on them. It's about finding liberation from fear and discovering the joy and courage to live boldly, with nothing holding you back. 6. Practice mindful living. Mindful living is about anchoring yourself in the present moment, fully engaging with what's happening here and now, without being carried away by worries about the future, regrets from the past, or unrealistic expectations. When we live mindfully, we see life more clearly and truthfully, free from the cloud of judgment or negative thoughts. The present moment, as fleeting as it may be, is the only time we truly have. Mindfulness reminds us that the past is behind us, the future is yet to unfold, and this moment right now is a precious gift. Practicing mindfulness doesn't require dramatic changes or elaborate rituals. It can be as simple as setting aside a few moments each day to focus on your breath, feel the steady rhythm of your heartbeat, or notice the sensation of your feet touching the ground. These small acts of awareness bring you back to yourself, slowing down the rush of daily life and freeing you from the endless stories your mind often spins. As writer Eddie Hillesium once observed, "At this moment I am completely content. There is only this moment, and it is full." By living mindfully, you cultivate patience, compassion, and the ability to truly listen both to yourself and to others. You begin to see emotions and situations with greater objectivity, no longer reacting impulsively or getting swept up in unconscious habits. Over time, mindfulness becomes more than a practice, it becomes a way of life. It helps you meet life's challenges with calm and composure while finding joy in the small, often overlooked moments, the warmth of sunlight on your face, the laughter of a loved one, or the quiet peace of a morning cup of coffee. Mindful living not only brings a profound sense of inner peace, but also enriches your life with meaning and depth. By choosing to be fully present, you open your heart to the beauty of life's simplest pleasures and navigate its difficulties with grace. In mindfulness, we discover that life isn't about rushing or achieving, it's about being present for every step of the journey, finding fullness and peace in the here and now. 7. Imagine life as a rich buffet. Picture life as a grand buffet overflowing with a variety of dishes, each with its own distinct flavor. There's the sweetness of joy and happiness, the spice of challenges and new experiences, and even the bitterness of failure and loss. The beauty of this buffet is that we can taste every flavor without clinging to one dish or avoiding those that might not be our favorite. This feast is for those willing to embrace the full spectrum of life, daring to open themselves to all it has to offer. As we approach this buffet, we're reminded that it's the variety that makes the meal complete. Life isn't about sticking to one safe dish, it's about sampling the full range of experiences. Some flavors will be delightful, like the moments of success and love that fill our hearts with joy. Others will be sharp or challenging, like the bitterness of setbacks or loss. But even these less pleasant flavors have their purpose. They teach us, strengthen us, and deepen our understanding of what it means to live fully. Epictetus once said, "Remember, it's not what happens that upsets you, but how you perceive it." This wisdom invites us to approach even life's bitter moments with acceptance rather than resistance. By reframing our perspective, we can find value in the difficult experiences, recognizing them as essential ingredients that enrich our journey and expand our capacity for resilience and growth. Life's buffet isn't about searching for the perfect flavor or clinging to a single dish. It's a journey of discovery, where each taste, pleasant or challenging, contributes to the richness of our story. When we approach life with openness and non-attachment, we free ourselves from the need to control every outcome. There's no pressure to hold onto one flavor or fear the loss of another. Instead, we learn to appreciate each moment as it comes, savoring its unique value and letting it go when it's time to move on. When we embrace life as a buffet, we find that joy doesn't come from possessing or hoarding the things we love. True joy arises from experiencing the fullness of life, from the interplay of all its flavors. By setting aside judgment and expectations, we open ourselves to the symphony of sweet, bitter, and spicy notes that make life meaningful and complete. So step into life's buffet with curiosity and a sense of adventure. Each taste, whether sweet, sour, or bold, is a precious gift, adding depth to your journey. By savoring every experience and embracing the lessons within, you'll discover the true essence of life, a rich and varied banquet that nourishes the soul and celebrates the beauty of growth. Practice self-reflection. Take a moment each day to pause and reflect. Ask yourself, is there something you're holding on to too tightly? Are you trying to control something that's beyond your power? It could be a lingering fear of loss, the weight of others' expectations, or the urge to have everything go exactly as planned. By identifying these attachments, you can remind yourself of the liberating power of letting go, allowing life to unfold naturally, rather than wrestling with what's out of your hands. Our ego often pushes us into unnecessary struggles, convincing us that we need to assert control to protect ourselves. This mindset can trap us in cycles of conflict and drama, pulling us further from the peace that's always been within reach. The writer Rainer Maria Rilke offered wise advice: be patient toward all that is unresolved in your heart, and try to love the questions themselves. Instead of striving to force answers or resist uncertainty, we can learn to embrace the unknown as an essential part of life, meeting it with patience and acceptance. Practicing self-reflection doesn't mean becoming passive or indifferent. It's about shifting your focus to what truly matters and lies within your control: your attitudes, your choices, and your responses. When anxiety or worry creeps in about things you cannot change, ask yourself, what would it feel like to let go of this struggle? Often, true freedom begins with the decision to release the grip of control. By letting go, you create space to breathe, to think clearly, and to live more freely. This journey isn't always easy, but it's deeply rewarding. It takes courage to let go of the need to control and to accept life's imperfections. In moments of stillness, listen to yourself and remember, not every battle is worth fighting, and not every problem requires a solution. Trust that life is unfolding as it should, and that your role is to flow with it, not against it. With each act of letting go, you'll uncover a profound truth. You don't need to fix or control everything to find happiness. Peace comes from releasing the illusion of control and focusing on what you can influence: your inner world. Over time, you'll find yourself living a life less affected by external fluctuations, grounded in a sense of calm and clarity. Self-reflection is your path to inner growth, a steady journey toward the freedom and fulfillment you've been seeking. 9. Embrace the impermanence of life. Life is like a flowing river, ever moving and ever changing, carrying with it moments of joy and sorrow, connection and separation. Haruki Murakami beautifully expressed this truth when he said, "We never truly lose those we love, even if death separates us. Whatever happens to us, we keep those connections forever." Impermanence is not just about the external changes we face, but also about the transformations within us: how we grow, how we see the world, and how we feel about the passage of time. When we embrace the impermanence of life, we release ourselves from the weight of fixed expectations. We stop clinging to the way things were or trying to force them to remain unchanged. Instead, we open our hearts to the natural rhythms of life. Like the blooming and fading of a flower, or the turning of leaves from green to gold, every part of nature has its cycle, and so do we. While we cannot freeze time or hold on to fleeting moments, we can choose to live fully in the present, savoring the simple beauty of life as it unfolds. Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic philosopher, wisely advised, "Accept everything that comes as natural to the universe, and you will find peace." The more we accept impermanence, the less we suffer when change inevitably comes. Loss is no longer seen as an ending, but as a natural and essential part of life's flow. When we recognize the beauty in each fleeting moment and cherish our temporary connections, we start to love life as it truly is, with all its imperfections and constant evolution. Hermann Hesse captured this beautifully when he said, Once you realize that life is impermanent, you understand that happiness is not something to possess, but a flow that we must learn to join. This journey of embracing impermanence isn't easy. It requires courage to confront our fears and patience to sit with the discomfort of uncertainty. But as we gradually let go of our need to control or cling, we discover a profound freedom. This freedom isn't tied to circumstances or outcomes. It comes from within, rooted in our acceptance of life's natural ebb and flow. True peace isn't about holding on, it's about learning to let go and live fully in the present. When we truly embrace impermanence, we open ourselves to life with a deeper sense of love and gratitude. We live with an open heart, ready to experience joy, pain, and everything in between, without clinging or fearing what's to come. We become part of life's great flow, finding beauty in its transience and meaning in its journey. In this way, we unlock the richness of life and discover that, even in its impermanence, it is endlessly precious. Thank you for taking the time to join me in today's video. Life is a journey of constant change, and each day offers us a new opportunity to learn, grow, and rediscover ourselves. The principles we've shared aren't just about finding peace, but also about adding depth and meaning to every moment we live. Remember, every big change starts with small, consistent steps. Practice a little each day, live with gratitude, and embrace everything life has to offer with an open heart. If this video resonated with you, feel free to share your thoughts in the comments or pass it along to someone who might benefit from it. Let's continue building a life of purpose and fulfillment, one day at a time. Thank you for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.